Bennett, I just wondered what it was about this stranger-than-fiction story that drew you in initially, and why you felt that Steve was right for John Dupont.
Well, I was attracted to the weirdness of the story, the bizarreness of these characters finding each other, very unlikely characters to find each other. One of the wealthiest men in America and this group of wrestlers, specifically these two brothers who were gold medalists. And the fact that it went terribly wrong and became tragic. So it was just the bizarreness originally, but it's also one of these stories, the more I looked at it, the bigger it felt. It's a very small story, and at the same time, it seems to add up to a lot more than just what happened.
And Steve, what was your initial reaction to being offered the role? I believe your agent put you up for it initially.
Right.
Yeah.
I was astounded that I was offered the role. It didn't seem, I don't have a career plan, unfortunately. I don't have an agenda. I'm not good about that. And this came out of the blue, and I'm really happy that it did. But I was surprised, frankly. I didn't see myself in this world, and I certainly didn't see myself being in a movie directed by Bennett Miller. You can't imagine. I tend not to do that too. I tend not to imagine what could be. I'm just thankful for when things turn out well, and so I was thankful for this.
It's one of those films where I think you can't possibly start thinking about anyone else in these roles. Why were you drawn to Channing and Mark Ruffalo as the Schultz
brothers? Yeah. Well, Channing I saw in a film called Guide to Recognizing Your Saints about 8 years ago, and I was just completely captivated, and it was even a reason for me to continue developing the story, because I felt, there's an actor who can play that role, whereas before I saw him I didn't know who might play that role, and I can't imagine anybody else. And as far as Mark Ruffalo goes, there really was not a second choice. I mean, he's an actor who's got such a big heart, and he also had been a wrestler, and his father had been a wrestler, and he understood that it's much more than a sport. It's a culture, and it's a language, and it's a whole thing. And Mark also had some personal tragedy that relates to this story, and he came forward to me before I even reached out to him about it, and said, this is something that I think I know and would love to be part of. So it was all very natural, and like you, I can't imagine anybody else in any of these parts.
And what was your experience of working with Channing and with Mark like? And not much opportunity for playing Scrabble between takes. I imagine it was a bit more intense than that.
Not much Scrabble, not much Monopoly or Life. It was somber, and it was intense, and it was quiet, and the movie itself is very atmospheric, and you got that sense on set as well. And I didn't get to know them personally very well. We pretty much stayed apart from one another, and I honestly didn't get to know them very well until we started doing press for the movie. But at the time, we were it was beneficial that way, that we were able to kind of Mark and Channing became very tight and became very close, but I was not so much with the two of them. But it was good. I mean, I think it was very respectful of each other's work and what we were trying to achieve. And Bennett actually said, and I wasn't aware of this when we were shooting, but when Channing and I would do scenes, you were watching and editing, and you said that after we would do a scene, we'd immediately turn away from one another, mm-hmm. and there would be no connection between the two of us apart from what we were doing as actors, which I wasn't even aware of as we were doing it.
And it's obviously a transformative role physically, vocally. What helped you the most to sort of capture his spirit as you saw it? I know there was a lot of video footage, for instance. Was
Yeah.
there a particular moment in that, or was it just a cumulative?
Well, he had a documentary that he commissioned for himself, and we were able to look at the raw footage from the documentary, and I think that might have been the most informative. The documentary itself was informative, but the outtakes, the stuff of him talking to the camera crew and talking to the documentarian, showed a different side, different persona, and a little glimpse as to potentially another aspect of who he was. So that was helpful. And there was a lot of research to be done about him, interviewing people who knew him, worked with him, worked for him. So there were a lot of different things to glean from.
Steve Carell, Bennett Miller, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, you